Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show, The Serious Film Critics, episode number 11. My name is Sam.
And I'm David.
Alrighty, double digits. We're really keeping this thing rolling. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing pretty well. We're finally doing like some distance recording, which was not a thing we could do before. So
I know.
Excited.
That's so exciting. Like we live down in this little town called La Plata, Maryland. I'm up in I live in Pennsylvania, so we're actually recording long distance, but we're still this way. We're going to be able to get you guys some pretty regular product here rather than the once in a while recording we've been doing. So get ready, people. We're rolling pretty hard now. So just be ready.
So you've been watching the NBA Finals, Sam?
I have been watching the NBA Finals. I'm actually a big LeBron fan to all those listeners out there, and I'm pretty disappointed right now. We're down 0-2, so it's not looking too good.
You think King James can bring it back?
I have faith in LeBron. He's average. Some reporter actually asked him today. They're like, LeBron, you're not looking so hot. And he's like, actually, I've been averaging a triple double, so I'm feeling pretty good. Oh no, the reporter asked him if he was tired. That's what it was. And he's like, nah, I'm averaging a triple double, so no, I'm not too tired. But yeah, he just doesn't have the team around him that
I thought
Steph
they would
Curry
have
and Kevin Durant do.
brought some more people in after last year, because I mean I'm pretty sure he did everything by himself last year, right?
Yeah. I mean, LeBron is basically the coach and GM of the team. So, like, and he brought some people in, but it's like, they have three really, really good players, like LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. They're all all-stars. Obviously, LeBron's the best player in the world, but the Warriors have, like, their whole starting lineup is pretty much, like, all-stars, if not all-time great players. Like, it's just, it's crazy. It's too much.
Yeah, they're too stacked, like the Evil Empire, basically.
Yeah, they pretty much are the Evil Empire, and we have a friend Coates who's away on military absence right now, so he can't be here to talk about it. But he's letting me have it over Facebook, just making sure I know that LeBron is down 0-2, and just give me a little of the old smack talk.
Yeah, he'll show his face when he can smack talk, and then he will just disappear into the shadows in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, he definitely will. As soon as things don't turn his way, he's gone. He's gone like the wind.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how the Cavaliers are going to turn it around, but if they do, he will be gone. You will not hear from him.
Oh yeah, if they bring it back this time from down 0-2 after being down 3-1 last year, like he's just going to change his mailing address, because I am never going to let him hear the end of it. You know what we should do is if they do bring it back, you and I should go on his Facebook and write the King James thing like over and over again.
Oh yeah, we need to do that.
We used to do that to some of our friends on Facebook. We'd like just randomly post like things over and over again to just like clog their feed. We're definitely doing that with Coates.
I mean, he's begging
if they bring. Oh, he definitely is. But yeah, NBA Finals not looking so hot. Anything else going on you can think of? I saw Wonder Woman the other night.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I thought it was good. Don't have too much to say about it. I mean, it was just a pretty solid superhero movie. I would say it's probably the most consistent movie DC has put out yet. But again, like I think we're both in agreement on this. I think DC is putting out just as good content as Marvel is, if not better.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on about
we could,
our thoughts
on
this.
Yeah, but this is no exception. I mean, Gal Gadot I thought was good. She delivers a pretty strong performance. The performances are pretty good all throughout. Like she kind of has a team of guys around her, but they're just not like as annoying, I feel like, as Marvel is. And Marvel, it's like every character has to be so quippy and
so snarky.
So snarky. There's just so much quip going on. And this movie, like these characters are definitely kind of funny. Some of them are. And I feel like this movie is probably the funniest DC movie. Like it doesn't have quite as serious of a tone, but it's still like I don't feel like I'm watching a 2-hour episode of like television like I do when I'm watching a Marvel movie. Like it feels like a real movie. Like yes, it's a little funnier, but there's still a serious tone to it. The visuals are much better, I feel like, than pretty much anything Marvel has done. I mean, it's a good movie. I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it, but I'm just curious what you think about what my brother thinks. He said that he thinks that Gal Gadot basically can't carry a movie on her own because Steve Trevor he was just as much of a protagonist as she was.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I think she's good, and I will say Chris Pine is really good, and I forgot to mention him. he's an actor I'm not usually crazy about either, but he was great in this, and they actually had a believable, he and Wonder Woman kind of get together and then have this fleeting romance throughout the movie. And I think it just added some weight to the whole story. I thought he was likable. Plus, what they could do, the Chris Pine character, since Wonder Woman, I guess, lives on like this otherworldly island or something, or it's on Earth, but like no one can see it or something, they kind of get to do the fish out of water thing where like Chris Pine lands on her planet and then she goes to the US, like, and they kind of have, or she actually doesn't go to the US, she goes to London, but she's on Earth as we know it, and it's kind of that fish out of water.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So I think it contributes to that. So I don't know. I didn't think she wasn't capable of carrying the movie. I think it was, almost like Iron Man with Pepper Potts, like a secondary character that plays off the protagonist, but it's not like, I didn't feel at any point like Chris Pine stole the show. Like, I feel like it was definitely Gal Gadot's ship. He was just, co-piloting, but I thought she was good. And I was actually surprised because I thought she was pretty forgettable. And what was she in? Was she in that Batman?
Superman? Yeah,
yeah, she was in Batman versus Superman. Yeah, I thought she was kind of forgettable in that. And I was like, I don't know about this. But she has sort of just a natural charisma. Like, she doesn't overact it. She's just good. Yeah, I think she does have the ability to carry the movie. I don't know how she'll fit in with the whole what I'm really interested to see with these DC movies is how they're going to do the whole team being together thing. Like, is it going to be everybody's just fine to get in their joke, or like, is it just going to be more of a keep the serious tone? But as far as her being in a standalone movie, I thought she did a really good job. But it'll be interesting to see how the Justice League is, like what kind of tone they're going for, especially with Joss Whedon directing, which I know we talked about already, but I'm hoping it doesn't turn into like a giant joke fest or like a quip fest.
What the Avengers is, where each one of them is just standing in line waiting to get that quip off.
It literally is. Yeah, it just feels like, okay, it's been a while since Iron Man made a quip. Like, when's his turn going to be? Oh, the Hulk hasn't said anything in a while. When's he going to get his due? Like, yeah, this movie, or this universe, I'm hoping doesn't succumb to that, especially now that they have Joss Whedon directing. But I don't know. I don't think it will. I think DC has kind of established a tone, then they're going to go with it. Now, again, Wonder Woman is definitely funnier than any other DC movie, but it still maintains that seriousness to it that I like, and it still maintains that gravity and, that weightiness that I feel like a movie like that should have. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm just watching, oh, this is Wonder Woman the TV show, that this is a really special episode, though, that's been extended into 2 hours. Like, it feels like a real movie. And David Thewlis, I think that's how you pronounce it, Thewlis, is in it. I don't even know. Have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't remember him then, but he plays sort of one of the main characters in the third Harry Potter movie, and he's the bad guy in this, and he is really good. Like, he's a good villain, too. And, like, a totally unexpected villain, because he's really, like, this kind of bookish-looking guy, and he has this sort of nasally voice, and he ends up, spoiler alert, but he ends up being Ares, god of war.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's basically a god, like this god, like this titan or whatever he is, and he does a really good job, even though you would not expect him to play that role. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I would definitely recommend checking it out. I'm not the biggest superhero movie guy in general, Marvel or DC, but as far as superhero movies go, I would rank this pretty high up there. I think Iron Man is still probably my favorite, but I would put this maybe somewhere in the 2 to 3 range. So it's definitely good.
All right, so yeah,
check it out. Oh yeah, I'm definitely saying check it out. I'd probably give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10 if I was to score it. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I liked it. So all right, since nothing else seems to be going on, what's happening in the news? Anything? Any movie news we need to go over?
I mean, I checked. I didn't see much. I saw one interesting thing I wanted to talk about. So apparently this isn't even that new of news. They're doing a Snowpiercer TV show on TNT, which is not a good
really
for that. But
it's on TNT.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it's just that Jennifer Connelly just joined, which I like Jennifer Connelly.
I like her too. I just feel like she's kind of one of those actresses, though. It's like disappeared, or like I don't know. I feel like, what has she been doing lately? Like, man, I think Requiem for a Dream, Jennifer Connelly, man, she was good back then. but I can't think of too much she's been doing lately.
Well, I mean, I think it's just the sad reality that she's getting a little older and Hollywood doesn't have much use for her anymore, which is funny
I
because
guess
she's, a really talented actress and definitely
she is.
deserves
She's really
to be
good
in movies.
Yeah, but well, I mean, I'll probably check it out. I mean, I like Jennifer Connelly, and did you see
I
Snowpiercer
did.
the movie?
I actually wanted to talk. I really love that movie. So
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think judging by how much you seem to like it, I'm probably not on the same level as you, but I enjoyed it. We should do it sometime. We'll have to put that one on the list at some point. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, I liked it, and I could definitely see it being adapted to a television show because there's so much sort of inherent mystery behind the plot about the train going, and I can see them really milking a lot of that.
So
and working
apparently
with it.
it's based on, I think, a manga or a comic. So that's where
Yeah.
they got the material from. And in that one, it's like they had a sequel, went on for a while. And apparently one of the big plot points of that is that there's a second train going around the world. And they're like worried about
really?
colliding with it. Yeah, so there's like a lot. And I think that also in the comics, they eventually find people living on Earth. So there's a lot of stuff
man.
they can draw from. I mean, Snowpiercer, it was like, that ending was garbage. So there was literally nothing they could do with
What happened at the end? I can't even
Should
remember.
we
Is it,
spoil
do they?
this? I guess we can.
Yeah,
if
we
you
can
don't want
spoil
to
it,
be
'cause we'll-
spoiled. The end, they blow the fucking train up and it crashes, and basically like the only two survivors that we know of are like the little.
Because Ed Harris dies, right?
Yeah, I mean everybody dies because they all try to they shield the kids from the explosion because they blow the
Yeah.
and like all that survives is the little kid and I guess the other little girl. And they get off the train and they see a polar bear, which basically means that life is like existing again.
Oh, right. I
But
do
the
remember.
problem is
I
that
definitely remember
Those
that now.
kids are gonna die because I mean, what are they gonna do to survive?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very bleak ending. I mean, I guess the idea that life at least goes on, but humans are fucked. But still,
Yeah,
I
it was-
really
it was
wasn't
a
a fan of the ending at all.
It was a pretty bleak movie, but I actually like Chris Evans a lot in that. I thought he was good. He's another one I kind of group him in that Chris Pine category where I haven't seen him in anything I'm like super crazy about him in, but I thought he was good in that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we'll probably do an episode on that when this TV show goes out because I think there's a
Yeah,
lot
we'll
to
talk about it, but TNT, I can't even think of like what shows do they have on TNT? The
They
only
did that
like
show
is
Leverage.
Law and Order, is that TNT?
Law and Order was not on TNT originally.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they just do like reruns or something on there all the time, but what are like some TNT original
Did you
shows?
see Leverage?
Which one?
Was Leverage on TNT or was it USA? I think it was on TNT. I don't know. They
I
did.
don't know.
They have that show called Legends, and it's
Ugh. Yeah, I think I've heard of
yeah,
that.
with Sean Connery. So yeah, we're
Wait,
struggling here.
Sean Connery is in
Not
it?
Sean Connery. Who's the other guy? Who's Boromir? Sean Bean.
Oh, Sean Bean.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, how have I not heard of this? Like, Sean Connery's back on TV, and then I thought he retired. Like,
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
I
I
think
haven't,
that's supposed to be a decent show. I mean, they do shows like that. If they do Leverage, which I think they do, then they kind of like. It's hard to describe. It was basically like
yeah.
Ocean's 11.
I remember
the
Leverage.
TV show.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
They
I
don't
hope
put
it's-
out a lot of quality stuff, to be honest. But I mean, it's not the
Not
worst thing.
really. It
It's
kinda
better than, I
scares
think,
me that-
going on like Fox, where it would be full of cliffhangers and just get pissed away in like a week.
Yeah, it definitely would. Plus, it would just be. I mean, the movie's pretty brutal. Like, you want there to be a little bit of gore, a little bit of a little bit of mature content on there because it's a pretty dark movie or
Yeah,
a dark
yeah,
theme in
absolutely.
general. So I hope that they don't shy away from that too much. But yeah, that's one of those shows you feel like would be better suited for HBO or something like that. But
So
Yeah, I
that's-
don't know.
That's our news. Do
I'll-
we have any other news?
the only other thing I can think of is Hellboy is being rebooted, but Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman are both not involved in it, and I'm pretty disappointed to hear this because I actually like the first two Hellboy movies a lot, and this is not sounding too good to me. Like, apparently they're gonna get that guy. Did you watch Stranger Things at all?
I still have not watched Stranger Things.
Okay, well, I don't want to say you're not missing much because I think it's worth watching, but I also think it's highly overrated considering how much people seem to love it. But the main guy from that is this cop named David the actor's name is David Arbor, and he's going to be the one who stars as Hellboy. And I don't know, I do not see it. Like, Ron Perlman owned that part, and this guy is like, I don't know, I just don't
I
see
know who
him
you're
doing it. I
talking
mean,
about, that cop guy. So And I'm
Yeah,
already
he's been
like,
enough-
looking at him like, nah.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the look. I think he was in Revolutionary Road too. I think he was the next door neighbor husband in that one. Like he's been in stuff, and he's a pretty good actor. But man, he is. I don't feel like he's suited for this part at all, and he's gonna have to do a lot of like body changing because he pretty much has like one of those dad bods when you
Yeah.
look at him in Stranger Things and kind of just doughy, man. Like it's gonna be a pretty vicious workout cycle they're gonna have to put him on to be ready for Hellboy.
You know, I mean, I think Ron Perlman was not that big. He had a lot of makeup and like prosthetics, but he definitely was not like a dad bod guy. Like he was definitely in shape for that, and he's big too.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Like he's big and he's in shape. I mean, he may not be like super cut, but like you gotta have the physical presence to play that character. And I do not know if David Arbor has it. I mean, I hope he does, but yeah, I'm not too keen on that. And I think who's directing? I think this guy Neil Marshall is directing it. Who did what did he do? I can't remember what he did, but he's directed like a lot of Game of Thrones episodes and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not.
Does not
No,
like,
he's
make me excited in any way.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, I guess he did like some of the big battle scenes in Game of Thrones, but man, I want a director with some credentials. Like, I mean, Guillermo del Toro is, when you're following in the footsteps of him and Ron Perlman, and then you bring in these two, like, it's not exactly the vote of confidence that you're looking for.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I'm not. I think it's like scheduled for release next year, but yeah, I'm not too excited about that. So I think that's about all the news, right? We got some interesting movies to talk about here.
Yeah,
I
the
don't even
movies are
think
the main
I don't.
event.
They definitely are, and I don't even think I teased them earlier. We're going to be talking about The Neon Demon, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, and Green Room, directed by what's that guy's name again?
Oh crap! I don't have it written down.
I don't have it
Jeremy
either, man.
Saulnier or something.
Jeremy
Saulnier?
Saulnier. Yeah. So these movies are pretty juicy. So you want to just jump into these reviews?
Oh yeah. So what do you want to start with? Neon
right.
Demon or?
Let's start with Neon Demon because I watched that one just yesterday,
Okay.
so it's fresh in my mind. So, all right, Neon Demon. It's a 2016 release, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive and Only God Forgives, among other things. So, Dave, you want to take us into this bad boy?
Yeah, so first I think I'm going to start doing like a short, I guess spoiler-free synopsis, just in case you
okay.
want to skip the next part until, which is impossible. But anyway,
Yeah, go
so
for
the
it.
basic gist of the movie is the model's name it's a young girl named Jessie who lives in LA, and she's basically trying to break into the modeling world. And she does, and basically along the way she makes a lot of enemies with these other models. And
Yep.
I mean that's honestly all that you need to know to watch this. So basically the movie opens up with a shot of like what looks like, I thought it was a doll lying on a couch with her throat cut, bleeding. And it
Yeah.
turns out it's actually our Elle Fanning, who plays Jessie, and she's doing a photo shoot. So it shows that you find out it's actually her. And then the next scene is her in the bathroom cleaning up, and she meets Ruby, played by Jenna Malone, right?
Yeah, that's Jenna Malone.
And she's a makeup artist. So they talk, and she tells Ruby she's new and that her parents are dead. So all we know about her background is that she came from some other place, and she's now in LA to be a model. So I think that let me see what happens next. Let me get my notes here. All right.
Oh yeah, get those notes out.
Yeah.
I got mine ready.
I know what happens next. I'm trying to remember. Like, is the next scene where she goes to her hotel, or is it when she goes to meet the modeling agent?
I think the hotel is next.
Okay, so she goes. Oh no, I think she meets her boyfriend, right?
Oh right. Yeah. You're right about that.
I mean, I just
Yeah, a lot
watched
of
this.
stuff happens in this movie.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, she goes out with her boyfriend. He has like a Camaro or something, or a Firebird, which I thought was funny.
he's
It's very there's a lot to talk about with the 80s-ness of this movie.
yeah.
They go out, they go to like some hill overlooking Hollywood, and she tells them like how she's like 16 and she just wants to be a model because she's like, I have no talent whatsoever, but I'm pretty and I can make me money, which I thought was really ironic. And he's like, well, I think you can probably do some good stuff. And she's like, well, what? And he's like, I don't know. Yeah. So then
I think this is all before he finds out she's 16 too.
yeah, we don't know how old he is, but he's probably older than 16.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be. Because when she tells him she's 16, he kind of tries to make an exit there.
Yeah, he seems like he's not as
Like, ooh, yeah, let me, I'm gonna get going. Like,
okay. So then, I think the next scene is when she's at the modeling agency and she meets her modeling agent, who is like already convinced that she's going to be a big star.
Yeah.
She talks to her. She tells her like how modeling industry is insane. Oh, do they go to the party before this?
Yeah, it's all right around that time. A couple of this movie
Terrible
cuts a
notes
lot.
this time. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all good.
She goes to a party with Ruby at a club, and she meets two other models. I think one's name is Gigi, who like talks a lot about how much plastic surgery she's done.
Yeah, I think it's Gigi and Sarah. I believe.
Yeah, two models. They've been there for a while, and they both are like also convinced that she's the next big thing, and they're very, very threatened by her. In fact, like there's a nice little
very
scene
threatened.
about they're talking, and like she talks about how she doesn't need plastic surgery, and then Gigi quips like, "How is it, having dead parents?" Basically. So they're very catty. The claws come out instantly.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
So then she meets with her modeling agent, and she gets her set up with some guy. I think it's Jack MacArthur. He's like he's like your stereotypical famous photographer that's like totally
I think
insane
that's his name.
and like a real dickweed.
Yeah.
So they get set up with a test shoot with her. She goes in there and Ruby's there, and the guy Jack just like looks at her, and like literally just looks at her. He like stares at her for a second. He's like, "All right, this is a close set." And he makes everybody leave, and then he tells her to get naked, and she does. And then he tells her to turn around and he shuts the lights off. And, you think he's about to like rape her or something, but instead he just turns the lights back on and starts like covering her in gold, like paint or
like body paint or whatever.
And then does the photo shoot. So he's not a rapist. He's weird.
No, he's an artist.
Yeah, he's definitely an artist. All right.
A lot of artists in this movie.
Okay, so then after this is when she goes back to her hotel. And it's like one of the seediest hotels in like all of LA.
Yeah,
it is
she's going incredibly
to her room,
seedy.
There's something in there, and we can't see what it is at first. So she goes down, and this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. This is amazing. She knocks on the guy's door, like I guess like the guy that owns the hotel, and she's like, "There's something in my room." And the shot is her trying to talk to him, and he's on the other side of the door, and you can't tell who it is. So then he opens the door, and it's Keanu Reeves, which I thought was a really amazing entrance. And
yeah, well, and you just see like his silhouette for a second, just framed in the doorway.
So she's like, "You need to get that thing out of my room," and he's like, "Well, I'm not doing that because I'm a dick." And yeah, so she's like, "Well, I'm gonna call the police." He's like, all right. So he gets his boy Mikey with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
and they're getting ready to do work, so they kick down the door, and it turns out
they've done this before.
Oh yeah, they do this all the time. So they kick down the door, and I guess what was it, a mountain lion?
Or it's like a mountain lion, or
I think it's a mountain
puma
lion.
or something.
Those are in LA.
Yeah, I think so.
So somehow there's a fucking mountain, and I think there's like a bunch of blood in her room too, which I don't think we ever know what that's supposed to be. I don't know if somebody got eaten.
Oh, was there?
I thought there was blood on her bed. Maybe I'm wrong.
Damn, I don't know. I might have missed that.
But anyway, she's like, "You're paying for all this. Like, you're paying for the fucking mountain lion that got in your room."
Yeah.
So that concludes our first meeting with Keanu Reeves, which is he has a very limited screen time in this.
Yeah, not a big role.
All right. So after that, what happened next?
What does happen next? I think she just starts sort of rising within the modeling.
The next part is when she goes to like meet the fashion designer to like try out for a catwalk or something, a fashion show.
Yeah, that's what it is, with all the different models there.
This is a pretty good part. She goes and there's like a ton of different models, and I guess the guy's a fashion designer. And like the first part, she comes in and there's all these models, and the first model's like doing her test walk, and the guy won't even look at her.
Yep.
So and then of course, but when Jesse goes up, he's like instantly enthralled by her because she's hot shit. So she gets signed basically to do his I guess like his show. So
this guy's like the Mugatu of the fashion industry.
Yeah,
he's the man.
He's just like a tortured artist, but also just a dick. So she gets picked, and then she hears like some stuff going on, and the model that got rejected is in the bathroom, like smashing the mirror, basically losing.
Yeah, I think that was Gigi.
Was that Gigi? No, I think that was somebody else. That was the young woman. Because like
I thought that was Gigi. Because weren't the two friends Gigi and Sarah?
Yeah, but this wasn't Gigi. Because this model was in the end too. There was 3 of them.
Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So she goes in there and she tries to like console the model. I don't know if we probably got her name, but I didn't know what it was. And she's like, "Oh, you know how hot you are." And then she breaks his glass and Jesse gets scared and cuts her hand on the glass pretty bad. So
Yep.
she goes and finds her boyfriend, who they go back to her hotel. She likes to like sneak in there, and he goes to confront.
And this is after the model tries to like drink Jesse's blood.
Oh yeah. This is worth pointing out. The model tries to drink Jesse's blood because she wants her beauty, I guess. So she goes back to her hotel with her boyfriend. I don't remember what his name is. Doesn't matter.
I can't remember either. It doesn't matter.
He confronts Keanu. He's like, I don't think he should have to pay. She should have to pay for that door. And then Keanu's like, basically threatening to beat him up if he doesn't give him the money. So he gives him the money.
Yeah.
And then Keanu talks about how there's a real Lolita thing in the other room next door. He's like, there's like a 13-year-old runaway if you want to have like a go at her. So Keanu Reeves.
I was wondering what he was referring to. Is he referring to like that Lolita Express or whatever?
No, there's a book called Lolita.
Oh, okay.
And that's like the most famous book it's about a guy that's way older and falls in love with a young girl. And it's a really famous book for that. I mean, I guess it's like the pedophile's handbook or whatever.
Well, I think I guess that's also what there. I think I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but there's like all these rumors that there's this thing called the Lolita Express. I guess this is why it's called that, but apparently it's like some island where a bunch of like famous politicians and stuff go, and there's like all these underage women there and things like girls and stuff. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
apparently just a lot of nefarious stuff happens. So I guess it's in similar. I guess the reference comes.
It's definitely
from
a reference to the book. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good old Keanu.
Yeah, he's not only a dick, he's like a rapist.
Yeah, he's a real tool in this.
Yeah. I think that might be the last time we see him in the movie.
Yeah, I don't think he's in it again. Well, other than is it later that scene where he's putting the knife in her?
Oh yeah, never mind. We do see him one more time. Okay, so
Memorably.
then he gets her hand fixed. And is this the scene where they go is the next scene the fashion show?
Yeah.
All right, so the next scene is the fashion show, and it's like a really long, super surreal sequence of her walking the runway, and like she's like having these visions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like for some reason she's seeing like, I don't know what this was. Was this a Triforce? It looked like the Triforce.
It was extremely trippy. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was just supposed to sort of encapsulate the otherworldliness of this fashion shoot or fashion runway, but yeah, it was. It got pretty trippy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that was she was seeing, but she was like having visions and stuff.
Yeah,
and this was a long sequence, which we'll get to because there's a lot to talk about with this. So she has that, and then I think after this is when she takes her boyfriend to meet the designer and the other models at the restaurant.
Yeah, and they're at
and they go in there and they won't even like let her sit with them because they obviously hate her. And this is when we start to see that she's really starting to get really full of herself because like the designer's like says this stupid cliche thing. He's like, beauty isn't everything; it's the only thing. That's funny. And then the boyfriend is like, well, I don't think that's what's important. I think it's what's on the inside that counts. And everybody just laughs it up. And then he's like, I want to get out of here. And Jesse's like, well, you can leave, but I'm staying with my, shallow dickwad friends.
With my new family.
Yeah, my new family. So I think the next scene is actually when she goes back to her hotel and has the, I'm not sure if this happened or not, with the knife in the mouth.
I think it did happen, but yeah, it's sort of another otherworldly scene where Keanu Reeves is basically just shoving this knife down her throat, and it's sort of a...
Well, I think, though, what happens first? Does she go into her room and then hear Keanu Reeves in the other room, or does the knife happen before or after that?
I think it happens after.
So I think that maybe that is because she goes in there and he first he knocks on her door, tries to get in, but she has it deadbolted, and then she hears him go into the room with like the Lolita girl and basically go at her. And I think she falls asleep, and then she wakes up and he's like sticking a knife down her throat, but I'm not sure what actually happened. So
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about it being potentially a dream or like just an alternate universe sequence,
causing some lasting damage to your throat if you had a knife in it for a while.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how long you did it, and if he was, sliding it around in there, whether he was just basically bringing it in and out. But I don't know. Yeah, he's a pretty messed up dude.
So anyway, then she wakes up and calls Ruby and is like, I can't stay here anymore. And Ruby's like, all right, you can come to my house, which is not actually her house, we find out.
No.
So she goes to Ruby's, and it's like this nice house up on a hill, and Ruby talks to her like, you're safe here, and tries to come on to her and basically tries to rape her, but is unsuccessful because Ruby's a lesbian. And there's a lot of sexual tension hinted at earlier in the film.
Oh yeah.
And then Jesse throws off her advances, and this is when the movie really takes a turn for the worst.
Oh yeah, it's all downhill from here.
So in the next scene we see Jesse, I guess,
for the characters.
Yeah, I don't know if Jesse's like, I guess she's like touching herself or something. And then parallel to that, earlier in the film we saw that Ruby is a mortician, and she she makes the bodies look good for funerals. And she's like, has a female that she's like dressing up, and she decides to just start kissing it. And then she decides to literally have sex with the corpse, of course.
Oh yeah, it's a little necrophilia thrown in there.
Yeah, and the best part is when she spits in the corpse's mouth, I guess, to make it wet for kissing.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh man.
So then the next scene I think is after this is when she invites Gigi and what did you say the other model's name was? Sarah?
I think her name's Sarah.
To basically dispose of Jesse. So they come in there, they grab, they're obviously there to kill her. They chase her around with a knife. She almost gets away. And then they chase her out to a pool, and Ruby kicks her into the pool. This is another thing I really want to talk about. Ruby kicks her into the pool. She falls, dies, but the shot lingers on her for a while, so you think that maybe she's alive or something.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is literally just them. They're all covered in blood. Gigi and Sarah are washing it off in the shower, and Ruby is like sitting in a bathtub full of blood. So they like ate her or bathed in her blood or something. And then the next scene is Ruby walking around topless, and she's like covered in all these occult tattoos.
Yep.
So, and then she lays in, I guess that was apparently Jesse's grave. And then she goes into the attic or something and like pees and lays in it, or maybe it's blood. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think that was definitely blood.
And then the next scene, they're at the house again. Apparently, it's a place they do photo shoots at, and they're doing a shot with MacArthur again, who's crazy as usual. And Gigi starts getting sick, and she keeps getting sick. She runs off. Sarah follows after her, and she's like, Gigi's basically like, I have to get her out of me. So she starts like, keeps trying to puke. Finally, she throws the eyeball up, which was Jesse's eyeball, and then just stabs herself in the stomach a few times, kills herself, and then Sarah eats the eyeball, I guess, to like get that youthfulness in her, and then that's basically
get that essence, and
then
that's the end of the movie.
Video at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's supposed to be Sarah in the music video. I'm pretty sure. Initially, I thought it was maybe Jesse, like in some sort of afterlife, but I think it's supposed to be Sarah, sort of just walking, and that's either her music video or it's just sort of a, I don't know, representation of her winning. I don't know, but all right, well, nicely done. So what did you think of this one, Dave?
Well, first I want to talk about...
We can just do some general thoughts if you want, or like whether we liked it or not, and then we can get into this thing.
All right, let's do some general thoughts. I liked it up until the last probably 30 minutes, and then it really started to lose me. It started to lose me with the necrophilia, and then it really lost me at the end. They did something... Well, there's so much to talk about. First, I guess I want to talk about how 80s it was. I mean, like the entire film... First of all, did you notice how he shot it with like a lot of the scenes with the lenses were like blurry on the edges?
I did, yeah.
I don't know what the point of that was. I guess to make it feel surreal. He did tons of neon. Like the entire film was full of neon, like in Drive and Only God Forgives. Like this guy is obsessed with neon in the 80s. The soundtrack is very like 80s electronic outrun music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is.
It would have fit right in with Drive, up until the end. Then it was disgusting.
Yeah. I actually really like this movie. And I came into it, this is only the second, I think it's the second. I think I saw one of the Pusher movies, which is Nicholas Winding Refn's. Those were his first ones he did. I think I saw one of those, but other than that, all I've seen is Drive. So I came into this movie really wanting to like it because Drive is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I liked it a lot. I didn't like it nearly as much as Drive, but I really enjoyed it. I really respond to his aesthetic combined with his musical choices. Like it speaks to me. Like I love the color he uses. I love all the contrast. I love the neon. I love the outrun music choices he picks. Like I'm on board with it. But and I don't know, the last part of the movie it was probably my least favorite part of the movie, but it didn't it didn't ruin anything for me. I felt like it just sort of completed this whole, I guess he's going for this whole, these models are so vicious, like they're willing to do anything to get ahead. Beauty is everything. So I think he basically completed his satirization by having them actually eat her rather than just like be jealous of her or want to, possess her. They literally wanted to possess her by having parts of her in them. So I think it makes sense in terms of completing what he was going for. But I think there was some gross stuff, but I guess I was just bracing myself for even more. The things I'd heard about this movie, I was just like, as soon as that like 25-minute marker happened where there was only that much left in the movie, I was like just tensed up. I was like, all right, what is this? What's going to happen here? And there was definitely some seriously gross stuff, but it never got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I just can't, like, this is ruining it for me, or this is, tarnishing it. Like, I was kind of on board throughout the whole thing. Again, the ending was probably my least favorite. I think it was a little gratuitous and just a little bit like, okay, what's he going for here? But I think that's another thing that this director, Nicholas Winding Refn, seems to latch onto, is sort of like violence as art. Like, clearly he loves violence, like beyond the point of just liking to have violence in his movies.
If you watch Only God Forgives, you will see. I mean, that entire movie is basically no plot. It's just like violence and neon.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen Only God Forgives yet, but he clearly loves violence and the sort of fetishization of it. Because even in Drive, like, Drive doesn't have a ton of violence, but it's incredibly violent when it does happen. And this movie is, the last 30 minutes are incredibly violent, and he likes showing it. And even the first scene in the movie where he shows Jessie, she's bleeding and sort of, this almost corpse-like figure laying there with blood everywhere. Like, he clearly looks at violence as an art form, and he likes to use it along with everything else. So I'm not as crazy about that aspect of his, I guess, his vision, if you want to call it. But I was on board for pretty much everything else. I really like this movie.
All right. First of all, I do want to talk about the visuals because, like, there was just some shots that were just amazing, like with the neon.
Yeah,
I really liked the first shot in the dressing room because it reminded me of Drive, the way it was lit. I think that was on purpose. Like, it looked like that dressing room scene in Drive.
It did, where he's putting on the mask or whatever.
Yeah.
It definitely did look like that, and I love that. I love that scene. I thought the club scene was really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean that was
first
intense.
Club scene, and I think he likes to. I think he keeps a lot of his dialogue minimal and likes to tell stories through visuals. Like, I literally, watching that scene, I wrote, are these like other models? Are they vampires or something? Like, I thought it was going to go supernatural because, like, just by the visuals of it, not only the music combined with the visuals, but it's this sort of like strobe red light, and you literally see these other models just like staring at Jessie like she's like a piece of meat or something. Like, they literally look like they want to eat her right there. And I think that communicates sort of it's almost like foreshadowing for later in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
like,
there was
okay,
tons of foreshadowing. The main foreshadowing for me was like, are you food or sex? And she was food and sex basically.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
super strong I mean, there was lots of it. With how they were looking at her, like a threat. Obviously, they were going to hurt her, but that's especially like they ended up like literally eating her, I guess, and that's what she was, food, and they tried to have sex
and I think that scene was so successful visually as well as the score. Like, I thought the score was incredible too. Like, I loved an amazing
every
bit. Yeah, I liked every bit of the score. I loved every song. I loved just the sort of synthy, eerie, like reverberating one throughout. Like, it was just, everything was hitting the mark for me in terms of the score and visuals. So, there were so many great visual scenes.
I mean, the part where he's driving, like, I guess it was a Firebird, that was really great. I also
when was that?
The first time she's with her boyfriend, they just shows them like driving down like Boulevard or something.
Yeah, that was super cool. Absolutely.
There was also like really good. They did this in Drive too, like juxtaposition between day and night. Like, the night's like all neon, and then the daytime is like, at points it's like really almost kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, like. It was like a totally different world. And then I also liked how at the end it was like when they were doing the photo shoot, it almost seemed like they changed something about the movie because it looked like it was like you were literally looking at pictures you would see in a magazine only on screen. Like when they were doing the photo shoot by the pool. Like, it seemed like he changed something with the cinematography to
it
make
did.
to give it that look.
It did. It absolutely did. Even when you're just seeing the two models standing there, like it doesn't look real almost. Like it looks too glossy. It looks hyper realized or something. And I loved it. I love the look of that. And I love just the contrast. Like he would just have some scenes would just be like so bright. Again, a lot of times with the daytime scenes, like that final scene is like he uses all the whites and the kind of cyan blues and the you
like
even see the
picturesque paradise.
Yeah, and then the nighttime scenes, it's this harsh neons and sort of just like I just love the contrast he uses visually.
But I think I gotta talk about the rest of the aspects of the film. I feel like he did this in Only God Forgives too. It's like, I mean, there was a story here, and then the whole idea, it was pretty almost like blunt, hitting you in the face. Like, the modeling industry is evil. It's bad.
Yeah.
Everybody involved is bad. Because everybody in the movie was a bad person, but it was so blunt. It wasn't subtle, and it didn't say anything interesting to me. Like, okay, we get it. Models are doing bad stuff. They starve themselves. They're, like, really mean to each other. Fashion designers are dicks. Photographers are dicks. Like, it was a really blunt metaphor to me, and the story just wasn't there.
I felt like it was kind of playing in two different worlds. I felt like part of this movie was like satirizing, because I didn't find this movie I've heard that it's like super pretentious. I didn't find it to be like at least not like pretentious enough that it bothered me, because I felt like this movie had a sense of humor. Because like a really, really dark one and maybe very subtle, but like I didn't take some of these characters seriously. Like I didn't take that one fashion director seriously. The guy who's the casting agent. Like I don't know. I don't think he was supposed to be a serious character. Like he was so over the top and just so douchey that I was like, they have to be going for humor here, because he was literally just like, as those like this is the scene where the different models are being judged, and he is literally just like looking down like, oh, I just can't, he's just giving this look like, I just can't be bothered with any of this. And as soon as Jessie comes, he's like, oh, like, you can just see
ridiculous. Like she's,
yeah.
That was another thing I had a problem with. Like, I don't think Elle Fanning is like gonna knock anyone's socks off compared to like every other model in the movie.
Yeah, but I almost felt like there was some humor in all of this. Like I felt like I laughed when that happened. I'm like, this is so over the top. Like this guy is so ridiculous, and he just looks at Elle Fanning, who again, like she's a really attractive woman, but I don't feel like she's, I don't know that she's.
Yeah, she's not like a revolutionary model. Like she's not like.
No, but I feel like it's just, they're presenting her as that, and this guy looks at her and he's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's and everybody in the movie looks at her that way. And I feel like there's just something to be said about the arbitrary nature of modeling, parts of modeling in general. And I felt like the photographer guy was almost like a comedic character, because he was just so intense. Like he was just so ridiculously intense. He was literally just like staring at her for like 30-second takes.
Yeah.
Which is that unbelievably like serious look on his face. And I don't know. I personally took that as comedic. I don't know for sure whether it was supposed to be, but I personally thought that was kind of funny.
Yes.
But yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, with the characters, like I said, you're saying that the characters are like satirical or comical, but it's like that still doesn't change the idea for me that this movie is not plot driven, and it's like trying to make a statement.
Yeah,
and the statement's just not that interesting.
Yeah, I would actually kind of agree with you in that. That's why, obviously, like I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, but I feel like a lot of people would watch this movie and look at those characters and be like, those guys are like, oh my God, those characters are so pretentious and so like blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's a level of self-awareness with those characters from the director and from maybe even the cast too, like the way they're portraying them. Like they don't seem to me to be like hyper realistic versions of people.
I do think that the whole movie is basically like with Spring Breakers, another movie we watched, is taking a big dump on the modeling industry. And I think a good scene with that is first of all, when the model Gigi's always talking about getting her work done, like, that's very presented as like what a dumb bitch. But especially when they're sitting at the diner and she's like trying to order the fruit cup, and it's like only a side, and she's like, all I want is a fruit cup. Like, I don't want a fruit bowl because I can't eat that much. I just want the fruit cup.
Yeah, and don't they just order that for the whole table? Like, we'll have one fruit cup and then coffee. Like,
yeah. So like, she literally all she can eat is like a piece of fruit a day.
Yeah,
and I mean that's definitely a funny scene.
Yeah, it is, and I think there's a decent amount of humor in this movie, but I think you kind of have to. Like, it's not, honestly, I was cracking up at Keanu Reeves too. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
was funny.
like like his voice was ridiculous. Like, he was literally like, I don't know what he was doing, but his voice was different. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I noticed. I definitely think that the way he was unveiled was supposed to be pretty funny, because it's like, who is this dark figure? Oh, it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who is this looming figure in this little like motel? Oh, it's Keanu Reeves. Yeah, but he was just like, hey, why don't you check out the lady in room 214? That's real Lolita Express or Lolita material. Like, he just had this ridiculous voice. Like, and I don't know. Like, I was cracking up every time he was in it. Except for the knife in the mouth scene, that wasn't funny.
Yeah,
but
that definitely was not funny. That
got pretty dark. But other than that, I thought he was so ridiculous to me that I found him pretty amusing.
But that's one thing I want to talk about is the characters in general. I do think that no matter how you look at them, all the characters were underwritten to the point of being like, it was hard to care about anybody.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering. Like, let's talk about Elle Fanning. Like, did you think she did a good job? And also, like, I don't know whether you're supposed to care when she dies, because I really didn't.
I think that's a problem with this film is, like, if you have good characters, whether or not they're bad or good, you should have, like, a reaction when they died. And when she died, it was like, all right, she's dead. Like,
yeah.
Like, really. And I think that was a problem. Her
Go ahead, fucking eat her. Like,
yeah, her character was not well written. We didn't know anything about her. The only thing that I think was done decently well, and I mean, not that well, was, you know, her character arc went from being like kind of intimidated to like knowing who she was, but it was like as soon as she became like, you know, oh, I know I'm hot shit, they just killed her.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she did have an arc to her where she was this utterly, like, almost like unrealistically pure soul that, you know, kind of gets corrupted by the modeling industry. And I mean, I feel like, again, I thought that was successful in what it was trying to do, because she was this, you know, just, she didn't really have much to her. Like, there was nothing, and I don't know if that's a fault in the movie or just the character or both. Like, she just wasn't really a character that you could latch on to. Like, but I feel like at the star of this movie, which is basically taking a crap on the, you know, fashion industry, and, you know, having this central character that is pretty much just beautiful or whatever, and doesn't really have much personality, doesn't have much, you know, much else going on besides sort of this it factor she has, I think it kind of makes sense for what it's going for. But in terms of like creating a character that you care about and that you relate to, I admit, yeah, I think the movie fails on that front. In fact, I can't think of anybody in the movie that I related to or liked. I think you're supposed to like that photographer kid, but I thought he was pretty bad.
I think that you're making a good point. Like, there's all of these characters are purposely made really shallow, but yeah. I think that the fact that every single character you cannot care about, even maybe the boyfriend who you're supposed to care about, I think that that's just a major flaw in the movie, is like the characters are just not well written. Even if they're made to be shallow, they're still just like, I almost think Gigi was the most developed character, because, you know, we knew a lot about her. Like, she was like a very insecure model because, you know, she knew her time was coming to an end, and like, but it's just like every character was like, you know, you didn't know anything about the main character, and maybe that was on purpose to just show that like nothing about her mattered, but it, you know, it was also a flaw in the film. Like, who gives a shit about her? Like, none of the characters were worth caring about, and I just don't think first of all, the story, like, there was almost nothing going on with the story, which I really didn't like. I don't like when films think they can throw the plot out in terms of just like, you know, okay, this is a purely visual film. Like, I don't agree with that. And I think that was a problem in this. Like, he literally threw the plot out the window. Like, it was just, the entire plot is, she's a model, she's getting big. Oh, and then there's some occult shit at the end. And it was like, you know, I mean, I don't know. He did that in Only God Forgives. It's worse than that. I mean, that movie has like no plot to speak of, basically. Like, he's like trying to get revenge for his brother, but basically that's not even going on. It's just a series of shots. I mean,
yeah, really, I know. That's like,
there are just some like silent shots with like neon lighting of like Ryan Gosling like brooding and like, you know, weird images. That's the movie, and he did it in this too. And I mean, I was not on board for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I understand what you're saying. It totally makes sense. I guess it just didn't bother me that much. I do. I think it is a flaw to a degree, even from my perspective, because when you have a movie like that with no relatable characters, nothing really. Because, like, let's take Drive, for example. Like, Drive operates in that same minimalist zone where the visuals are highly important, but I think those characters are much more. I don't even know if relatable is necessarily the right
definitely
word, but
interesting.
you can latch onto those characters, and I admit I don't feel the case with this movie. I didn't really, but I also didn't think the performances were bad, and I sort of like liked just about everybody in the movie in terms of their performance. I just didn't latch onto them emotionally. Like, I believed them, and I sort of like what they were doing. I just didn't find any characters that I liked. I just thought they were all pretty much. But I also think a lot of his characterization is also done through visuals. Like, he clearly does not like to write a lot of dialogue, and I think each of the characters sort of has some visual moments where you do get deeper insights to their character based on what they're doing. Or, I mean, Elle Fanning, like during that runway scene, she like makes out with herself, and
Oh yeah, and the reflection.
I think
that was pretty
yeah,
cool.
like I think there are different scenes where characters do things that sort of define who they are. You just don't get a lot of it in the writing, but I'm also not trying to necessarily defend the writing, because the writing is so loose and so minimalist, almost be barely existent at all. But I guess it just it didn't bother me. I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't shine a light on the writing as the highlight of this movie by any means, and I do think it's flawed, but I was kind of okay with it at least.
I think
But
that's something interesting about Drive, because I don't think he wrote Drive for one, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like Ryan Gosling or somebody brought him on board to make that. So I get the feeling with what is it, Refn Winding or something,
Oh, Nicholas Winding Refn.
Winding Refn.
Yeah.
I feel like when he has like restraints on him, he can make a really good movie like Drive.
Yeah,
And
I
when
actually
is allowed to do
Yeah.
whatever he wants. He makes Only God Forgives, which is really just not a good movie.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I mean, I haven't seen Only God Forgives, but I from what I've heard from you about it, and I've read some stuff about it, I kind of feel like I'd be in a similar boat. But it seems like, yeah, if he has a little bit of restraint, I think he can make some really amazing movies. But I still like this one a lot, and I feel like it has a lot of merit. But I do feel like if it had a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger writing to it, it could have been even better. But again, I don't know how he could have necessarily created likable characters considering the world he's putting them in. Like, the world is so bleak and so dog eat dog and so vicious that and on top of that, you throw in the fact that it's the modeling world where these characters are all portrayed as vapid and, kind of unlikable on principle, that it's like, I don't know if they could balance the satire and the self-seriousness of these characters with making likable characters that you care about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you mean, but
yeah,
I don't know that I agree necessarily.
yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. But
There's one big thing I want to talk about. Maybe we shouldn't get it. Oh, I guess we can get to it. Have
Yeah.
you seen The Place Beyond the Pines?
I have, yeah, I love that movie.
I love that movie too. Did you notice anything similar with this movie and that movie? Basically, this movie, I would say, basically breaks a rule of filmmaking, which is where you kill your protagonist off before the movie's over, and then you just keep going. Because that's what they did. And they did it in The Place Beyond the Pines. It's way more shocking and way more well done. And I honestly really wonder if he watched The Place Beyond the Pines and like was in someone inspired, because that scene is so similar to me. Because Ryan Gosling is, no spoiler alert, in that movie, Ryan Gosling gets killed part the way through the movie, and then it literally just switches to Bradley Cooper's character, who just is introduced right there. And it's amazing the way they do it. And in this movie, it doesn't really, when Elle Fanning's character dies, it doesn't really follow any one protagonist, but it does kill the main character off before the movie's over. But the way it's done is like, it's almost like Ryan Gosling gets hit out the window and then he's dead, but you don't really know that he's dead because the way, first of all, he's the main character, and second of all, it kind of lingers on him for a minute. And it does exactly the same shot. Like, she falls, it pans up, it like lingers on her for a minute.
Yeah,
Is
you're
she
right.
gonna survive? But no, she doesn't survive. She's actually dead. And it was just like, man, that was so suspicious to me. Like, I really wonder if he watched The Place Beyond the Pines, because that came out a while ago. I was like, all right, I like that. I'm gonna use it.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but yeah, you're right. But you're absolutely right. I know it does linger on him. I don't know. That's interesting. But yeah, I guess in this it's weaker because you don't have that other character to like, in Place
Yeah,
Beyond
there
the
is
Pines.
no protagonist. I mean, if they started following Ruby, that might have been interesting, but they didn't do that. They just
Well,
showed scenes after that.
They almost kind of followed Sarah, that one model, because she's and I don't. For some reason, I want to like it, and I think it's just because of the credit scene. I love the credit scene and that song playing, but I guess it's like trying to say she's kind of the top dog because she's the one that's willing to go the farthest.
Oh,
But
and eat the eyeball?
because she eats the eyeball, she takes the job, like, and at the end of the movie, I think that's her walking in that like either music video
I
wasteland or
think
whatever
was
it is,
too.
and it's like. I really want to like that because I love the visuals of all of that so much, but it's like I don't know that they really establish Sarah as like, does she do stuff earlier in the movie that would suggest like she's gonna be the one to have the last laugh, or like she's
All
gonna
she
be?
says is that like her and Gigi are getting older and their time is coming to an end soon. So she's the one that points it out that like maybe modeling, the industry disposes of models very quickly and that they're getting older and they can only do this for so long. But I mean, other than that, I would have thought Gigi would have been the one to step up and be the new main, or Ruby, even though she's a makeup
but
artist.
I guess it's maybe the fact that Gigi is like, maybe she's just not as secure as Sarah is, because Gigi's the one, right, that is insecure and like
she's
even
way by far that she's always talking about her plastic surgery and trying to justify it.
she's
saying
talking about
it's a
her
good
plastic
thing.
surgery. She can't, and she actually seems to, I don't know if feel bad is the right phrase, but she seems to not like the fact that she ate Jesse. Like she either feels bad.
She's like, I gotta get her out of me. I
Yeah,
mean,
she either feels bad about it or like something there's some form of conscience there that is, playing back at her. But it just seems like Sarah is just totally willing to give everything up about herself to be a successful model. And I guess that's why she gets her last laugh in the end. I think it would have been a lot more satisfying if her character had been highlighted a little more. Like, I feel like out of the three main vampire-ish villains, like she was probably the least characterized one, but she ends up being the one that gets the last laugh. It's a movie I'd probably have to rewatch to get some stuff too. On a first-time viewing, I think you might miss some stuff, but I didn't get the sense that she was going to be the one to step up in the end and be the, sort of the winner, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't. I didn't even think she was going to be back in the film that many times because there are scenes where she's really like in the diner and stuff. She's basically just kind of there, like as a she doesn't really serve any purpose. Gigi is the one that's like a character.
Yeah,
it's
and you
like
actually
Sarah isn't a character.
Yeah, you kind of and I don't know, maybe. I mean, I feel like at that point, trying to break it down that much is like, okay, what's he if it's this hard to figure out, then maybe it's just a weak filmmaking point there. But it just seems weird that out of the three of them, she would be the one to sort of, eat the eyeball at the end and get this victorious walk off into the sunset, whereas the other characters are, well, I mean, I guess Jen, what's her name? Ruby is okay, but she's not a model, so you get that. I mean, she kind of comes out on top too because she's like laying in the sun or whatever and just loving life. But I guess you just don't get a sense that Sarah is going to be the one to like.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, you also see the one model at the end, the one that tried to lick her bloody hand. She's there too at that final photo shoot.
Oh, right,
That's
she
her.
is.
So it's like she's like an up and comer. She's probably going to get eaten later.
Yeah, that's what you do. You eat them. Oh man. What else is there to talk about in this bad boy?
I mean, the visuals are the big thing, and the music. We talked about that. The characterization, the plot.
Did you like the performances? Like, not even necessarily the.
I thought the performances were all pretty good. I mean, they were good enough. I didn't think the boyfriend was all that special, but I thought Elle Fanning was okay.
I thought he was the weakest part.
Yeah, the photographer was really fun. I liked watching him, and I thought the models did a good job.
I thought the casting agent was really good too.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was just so over the top.
Yeah.
And I love that. What's that little speech he gives and then says he's an actor? He's like, oh, beauty is, well, then he says the beauty isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think I think he's ripping off Vince Lombardi there.
Yeah, is that who said that originally? Because a lot of people have said that. But I guess
because Vince Lombardi, I remember famously said, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. So that's interesting. But yeah, I thought he was good. I thought Keanu Reeves was was good. I gotta say, I don't really know why Keanu was in this movie. I liked him and I thought he was funny.
I literally don't know why he was in this movie, because
I'm not
maybe
sure.
2 scenes.
I'm not sure what he's there to represent. Is he supposed to be like just like represent like the depravity of the average guy or like the average person? Like I don't really know what he's.
Well, I think he was only
is.
partially there to drive the plot, because I mean the only reason she went to Ruby's house was because she was afraid of him. So I mean that's one reason he's in the movie, because I really don't know what he represents. He's just, I mean, his character is like it's fun when he's revealed, and then it's like, why are you in this movie? You have 2 scenes.
Yeah, it's like
advertised in the trailer.
I know, which I think is ridiculous. Obviously, they just wanted a name, but yeah, I don't know how to feel about him, because I enjoyed when he was on screen, and like I thought he was funny, and like I liked the scenes he was in, but I'm not really sure what the meaning behind that is. But
I'm sure that it was there, because that's this guy. Everything he does has meaning. I mean,
yeah,
you can't do a scene and not have put meaning into it.
Yeah, he definitely does. But I don't know, man. I don't have too much else to say. What anything else you want to dive into with it? Like, what do you?
No, I think we can just give our final thoughts, like our rating. Honestly, I mean,
all right, yeah. What are you thinking for this one?
I think I'm gonna go with a 6. Actually, 6 out of 10.
Okay, cool. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm going 8.
Oh wow, that's
so
high.
Yeah. I liked it quite a bit. I right after watching it, and it's a movie that's sitting with me. Like
it's definitely sitting with me. I want to watch it again.
Right after I watch it, I would probably have been around a 7, maybe. But it's growing on me as I'm processing it. So I'm gonna be 8 right now. So definitely liked it a lot. All right, that's it for Neon Demon. You guys should definitely check that one out. It is. Whether you love it or hate it, I think it's definitely worth a watch. All right, Dave, I guess let's move into our second movie and final review of the day. We're going to be talking about Green Room, which is a 2016 release directed by, what's his name again? Jeremy Saulnier, who, did you ever see Blue Ruin?
Yeah,
I guess
I've
he
heard
directed
a lot of good
that.
things.
Yeah, I saw it was on Netflix. I wanted to watch it, but yeah, I think he's done that and a couple other things. But all right, you want to take us into Green Room, Dave?
Yep. All right. So let's see. This opens with they're in the van, right? Like passed out in the cornfield or something.
Yeah.
So basically it's like this, there's a lot of interesting scenes in this with like the music. It's like they're all asleep in there and the radio's on, so they basically burned up all their gas because I guess they got drunk and crashed in the cornfield or something.
They were partying.
So they're a band. It opens with a band. They're a punk band, and they're on tour, but they have no money. And they're basically heading to interview with some guy who does like a college radio show, and he's got a gig for them. So first they have to get some gas for their car. So they get on this goofy-looking bicycle.
Yeah,
2 of them. What's the girl's name? Sam. She's the guitarist, I think. And then I don't remember any of their names.
I don't either. Anton Yelchin is the main guy.
Yeah, he's the main character. I don't remember
what is his name.
What is his name in this? I don't remember any of their names.
I can't either, man. I'm with you.
So anyway, is it pronounced Yelkin or Yelchin?
I think it. Actually, that's a good question too. I feel like it's Yelkin, or at least that's what I've always said, but I'm not sure about that.
Names for this. All right. Anyway, so they ride. They siphon some gas because that's a thing they do.
I'm gonna look up what the
go ahead and look up these character names while I'm doing the synopsis. So they go and siphon some gas, and then they put it in their van, and they go to meet this guy. He's like he has a radio show, and he wants to interview them. So they go crash at his place, party, and then they do this interview, and they have like this whole thing like, "What's your desert island band?" Like, if you can only listen to one band ever. So they meet him, and he's like, "Well, my gig that I had for you kind of got squashed, so I'm gonna have you do another gig. It's like 50% of the door total." And you get free food. And it turns out it's like literally like a little hole in the wall diner. And they make like $6 each from playing the show. So this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
They're playing their hard.
It looked like it was like
music.
A Chili's or something. Like.
Yeah. I mean, it was really small. So they get really upset about that. And he's like, okay, look, I can get you another gig. It's like, and I think he says it's in Portland. And he's like,
wow, these are all right. I've got these character names and they are not what I thought they were.
Oh, really?
No. Anton Yelchin's character is Pat.
Oh, really?
That doesn't even sound familiar to me.
Yeah, I don't think I heard his name once.
You were right about Sam. There's the other guy's name is Reese.
Which one is that? Because there's only the MMA guy. I remember him.
I think he's like.
And then there's the singer.
The guy who likes the Misfits is Tiger, the singer,
Okay.
which that doesn't. I feel like I remember hearing that name.
So the MMA guy is Reese then.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a relevant plot point.
yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but,
All right, so
but it's good to know at least Pat's name.
Yeah, we need
But-
Pat's name. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he's important.
Some people are gonna die. So they go, and he's like, "All right, so basically, these are some hard neo-Nazi." This is something I should have looked into this more. Something I want to. These are some hardcore neo-Nazis because a lot of these guys listen to punk. So they go there, and it's like out.
Which I did not know. Is that like a real like these neo-Nazi guys like punk?
Yeah, that's a real
Like,
thing.
Oh man, I didn't know
There's
that.
definitely a lot of music that is associated. I mean, that culture is associated with that in some way. I mean, like American History X, they listen to punk music for sure and like metal and stuff. I mean, I guess it's not really a specific genre. They just like heavy music.
Yeah, that's
But,
true. Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
punk is not associated with neo-Nazis. It's more like neo-Nazis are associated with punk.
Yeah, that's true.
So they go to the show. It's like a big show. It's a bar. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
It's in the woods
like,
for sure.
Yeah, it's in Portland, right, or
Yeah,
Oregon
Portland.
somewhere. So like in the middle of the woods.
So they get there and they set up. They play. The first song they play is like "Fuck Off Neo-Nazi" or "Fuck Off Nazi Scum" or something.
Yeah,
And it really pisses the crowd off. But, then they play a really heavy song and they win the crowd over. And it's like a really artistic scene of them playing. It's like, it's like really quiet, but the music is playing. It's like slow motion.
yeah, and it's kind of this like acousticy like back.
Yeah,
it's
I really
framing
I
it.
liked how they did that. And
Yeah.
so after that, they I think it was Sam. Somebody was charging their cell phone in a room. So they go to get their phone and
Yeah, it was Sam.
and she sees a corpse laying on the floor because some dude just stabbed her in the head. So then she like screams. I think it's Pat grabs the phone, tries to dial 911, gets a hold of 911 before they take his phone away because there's a really big dude in there. Very
Yeah,
relevant. I don't know what his name is. He's like the door guy.
yeah.
So they all go in there and they're like, "Oh crap!" They're
I
all
think his
really-
name's Big Justin.
Big
Based on
Justin.
based on the IMDb here.
Yeah, so then they're all in the room and they're like, "Oh man, what are we gonna do? We need to get out of here." And they're all really, and then so I think he locks them in there at first, and then he calls the short guy that organized the show. So he is like, "Oh shit!" So he goes and gets a gun, and it's funny how he does it. He's like, "It's okay, it's fine." He's pointing the gun at them, but he's like, "Don't worry, it's all fine. Just go back in the room. It's okay." So then the police show up, and in order to get rid of the police, he has these two guys stab each other because they reported a stabbing on the phone.
Yeah,
So they have to take one for the team and get arrested. So then he talks to, I think first he talks to the guy's name. I don't remember what his name is. The guy with the dogs.
let's consult
look-
IMDb. His name is Daniel.
Daniel. So he talks to Daniel. He takes some money out, I think, to pay those guys off. And then and then Patrick Stewart is, the main villain of this. What's his name?
Yeah. Why is he not listed? Patrick Stewart isn't listed here on the IMDb cast.
Are you
Hold on.
serious? He's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, you think he'd be like second billing?
Well, we'll just call him Stewart because his name doesn't matter.
Oh wait, hold on. He's Darcy. That's what it is.
Darcy. Yeah, actually,
I do
remember
remember.
that name.
Yeah.
So they get locked in the room. So then he comes back with Stewart and they or Darcy, and they try to negotiate basically, and they're like, "All right, look, we just want you out of here. It's gonna be fine," even though they're already planning how they're gonna kill him. Because Darcy was talking to the other guys, and he's like, "We're gonna stage their murder because we're gonna say that they got killed on some property that said no trespassing." So they come
Yeah.
up with some super overly complex way to dispose of them instead of just killing them with dogs.
Yeah.
And like, don't use guns, or if you use the guns, you can only shoot them once. I don't know why. Just burn their bodies. Who cares? But they
Yeah.
decide they're gonna like frame them for siphoning gas off this guy's property, and then they got killed. So they lock him in the room, and then the short guy gives them the gun. I don't even remember why he does it. Doesn't he give them the gun so they'll let somebody go or something? Why does he give them the
Well,
gun?
I think they proposed a trade. Like we give you the gun, you give us.
Well, first he gave them the gun for something else.
Oh, wait.
I don't remember what for.
I don't either. Well, isn't that where he gets his hand messed up when he like is about to give them the gun, but then he what were they giving him?
Oh no! They just get the gun from the big guy actually.
Oh yeah. The big guy had the gun,
they
right?
rush him because they're in there and they're like they rush the big guy and they take his gun. So then what? But they propose a trade and they end up getting the better of him, and I don't remember. what the trade is.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I just remember the gun is involved.
Yeah.
But I don't think they get what they. I don't think either side really gets what they want there.
Yeah. So
because it's pretty bad.
Yeah, they offer to like trade him the gun for a phone or something.
I think that's what it is. I think it's a gun for the phone.
But then I just remember Darcy's like, they're a lot smarter than you, aren't they? Because he does something really dumb.
Yep.
Or either way, they keep the gun for a while.
Yeah.
And then the one guy leaves, the murderer, so it's just them and Big Justin.
Yep.
So they're locked in the room, and then Darcy is talking to Daniel, and he's like, we're going to get some fighting dogs in here. He's talking about how much money it costs to get pit bulls that can fight.
Yeah.
And so they're all doing that. In the meantime, they're in the room, and they what happens next? They spend a lot of time in this room.
Yeah,
it's great.
a big part of the movie is in the room.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember like the exact order of events. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, they're just in that room for a long time, and like Patrick Stewart just tries different tactics to.
Well, all right, let's just go with what we know. We're fucking this up big time.
Let's just gloss it over because I mean, for
so
a long time,
like the guy Reese knows MMA, so that's how he keeps putting Big Justin in like these arm bars, so to keep him to submit. So then, all right, so they're in there. They search Big Justin. He has a phone, but he breaks it before they can get it. So in revenge for that, he like puts him in an armbar again. So then they're like, okay, then they're gonna make the trade. They're like, we're gonna give you the gun, but we're keeping the bullets or something for the phone.
That's what it is. That is what it is.
But there's something else that happens before that, and I can't believe I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're like, all right, we're gonna give you the gun. So he opens the door to give him the gun, and then it's obviously a trap. So they start like chopping his arm up to get the gun from him.
Is that what was happening? Like I couldn't tell if like dogs were getting his.
I think it was
hand
they were
or...
stabbing his arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's also funny too because they basically have to evacuate the party, and he's like, it's only going to be red laces from here on out. And apparently, if you have red laces, it means you've shed blood for the Nazi movement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked all this up because every single word they use on here is like on the SPLC website, and I kind of think they went on there and they're like, all right, get these buzzwords in here, boys.
And I love when Patrick Stewart is like, when everybody's leaving, he's like, don't forget to attend the racial awareness meeting like next.
Like
and then he's like,
awareness workshop.
And he's like, remember everyone, this is a party, or this is a movement, not a party. Like,
yeah, they take their shit seriously.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So he loses the gun. They chop his arm up, and I think in retaliation, is when they break Big Justin's arm.
Yeah,
they snap his arm, and then so now they're like they have to duct tape Pat's arm together because it's fucked up, and now they know they're screwed. So they keep trying to find a way out. They can't, but they know that there's like a room below the room, and it turns out it's like a meth lab or something. So there's a meth lab down there. So then I think that what happens is they is this the part where they the girl there's another character we have not mentioned who is very important. There's a girl, and her friend, who's Emily, was the one that got killed. Her friend got killed, and she was with the neo-Nazis. So she's really upset about that, and she's the one that decides to kill Big Justin with the freaking box cutter.
Right.
Yeah, so
she loves that box cutter.
Yeah, so basically Reese, they're all getting super upset at this point because they're all fucked. Reese chokes him out, and then while he's out, she takes the box cutter and like cuts him and like bisects him basically.
Oh yeah, man, that was
rough.
Yeah, that was
he's
rough.
Dead. And then I think this is when they decide they're gonna make a run for it because they open the door and there's nobody out there. So they get out there, and then Daniel's waiting with the dogs, and so he lets the dogs loose, and they just go hog wild. On our friends.
Yeah.
First, I think it's what's his name?
I think that was Tiger.
Tiger, he gets his throat ripped out by the dog first.
Yeah. And then the other guy, Reese or whatever, jumps out the window, and
he gets
there's
stabbed.
some boys waiting there for him.
Yeah, they stab the shit out of him. And then is this when they run outside, or do they run back to the room first? I think they all run outside, and then what's her name gets shot and eaten by the dog.
Yep.
Sam.
Yeah.
So yeah, then she grabs a fire extinguisher. They try to run outside, and they're all waiting with guns at this point. And then they just shoot her, and then the dog eats her too. So then they go back, and it's literally just our boy Pat, who's all fucked up, and then I don't remember the girl's name.
It's Imogen Poots. I don't remember her name. Let me look up her name.
So they're in the room, and then they're like, okay, we need to get this over with. We're running out of time. Like, the bodies have to be the right temperature because the
her name is Amber.
Amber. So they decided to send in, like, they were sending in two boys with machetes to take them out. And one of the guys, I feel like his name was, no, I don't know his name.
I know you're talking about.
I'm
Just
having
one
a
of the
hard time getting
guys.
through this one. And I just watched this, and I feel like I know the plot pretty well, but I don't know the nuances. So these two guys go
Well,
in there.
the names aren't really important in this movie.
So at this point, they're like starting to get more desperate because I don't know why they had to come up with such a ridiculously complex way to kill them, but they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really. I maybe it's because the police. I have a feeling though you could justify saying, but the police know that they're neo-Nazis, and if people show up dead on their property, they're going down no matter what.
Yeah, this
But
is
why
true.
didn't they just? All right, anyway. So then two guys go in there, and the one guy goes in there, and it turns out he was like in love with Emily, and they were like planning on like getting out of there, and that's why she got killed. So he's like, "Oh wow, okay, so I'm gonna help you now." And I don't know if like they knew that when they sent him in there, because that was kind of dumb because they sent him in there like that. Maybe they were trying to dispose of him too, because they're like knives only right now. So then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna help you." So then they all try to run again, and he gets shot by one of the guys who has a shotgun. He's dead because he told them how to get away. So then they struggle. They get the shotgun away from the dude. What else happens? Yeah, I think they get the shotgun away from the guy, and then they just run back to the room again. And at this point, Imogen Poots has been shot in the leg. Forgot about that part.
They're both pretty messed up.
And they go in there, and earlier in the movie, he was telling this story about how he was paintballing with these like Marines who were like super tough, and they were just kicking their asses at first. But then they, through the power of willpower and spirit, they overcame and beat them. And it's obviously like a metaphor for this film. So like they basically decided to get really hyped up, and they like paint war paint on their faces and stuff.
Yeah.
So he gets a machete. She has a shotgun. Or does she has she gets a handgun from the guy she kills later. So at this point, Patrick Stewart's like, all right, fuck, we're sending you guys in again. You can take the dog with you. And I think at this point, he just expects it to be over because they have guns. Because he's also like, you're only allowed to take a few more bullets. You can't shoot any more bullets than this. So they go in there with like, I think one guy has got, do they both have handguns, or does just one of them have a handgun?
I think one of them does.
And the other guy says like a knife or something. So they go in there, but the short guy has one of the dogs with him, and he's like, all right. Oh yeah, because they shot the dog earlier. So like, this dog's gonna die, but I
think they inject him with like some adrenaline or something to keep him, because like it'll keep him alive for like an hour.
Yeah, so they take him in there. They set the dog loose, and they know how to scare the dogs off because earlier they used the feedback from the amplifiers to scare him off.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that again to scare him off. So they do that. They don't have the dog, and I just thought it was so funny. Like Patrick Stewart, Darcy, and Daniel just left, and they just expected things to get done now, even though they'd already disposed of a couple of their people.
Oh yeah, they're like this is over.
Yeah, they literally leave because they think it's over. They're going to set the crime scene up. So,
and these two last goons are like doofy guys.
They're
like
dumb. Yeah, they're like young dumbasses.
Yeah, they are not like guys that you would want to leave in charge of like finishing a delicate situation like this. Like, not in the least.
Yeah, like when they sent the first guy, the guy that was with Emily, like he looked like a tough dude that was going to get it done, but then he just died.
And these two are just like goofy looking guys, like that don't seem particularly intelligent. Like,
yeah, and they're the last bastion of defense.
Yeah.
So they send them in there. So they go in there, and like at this point they managed to broken through down into the meth lab. So they go in there and they're like making all this noise down there, and then they're like, oh well, this is obviously a trap. He's like, yeah, I know, but what else are we gonna do? And I guess the whole time like Imogen Poots is like hiding up top. So,
yeah, she was hiding like in the sofa, I think.
Yeah. So he goes down. He goes looking for him. He only has a few more bullets in his gun. So then she kills the guy up top first. Yeah, she kills the guy up top while the guy's down on the bottom, and then gets his gun. So then the guy on the bottom like struggles with what's his name with Pat, and while he's struggling, she ends up shooting him. So they're both dead. So at this point, they got the guns. They took care of the goons, and they basically we're gonna escape. So they get out of there. They find the fat short guy, and he's like, I want to go to prison, which he kind of got off easy compared to everybody else. And so they go into the woods looking for Darcy and Daniel. First, they find another one of the goons, and they're like, all right, toss your gun away. They take him hostage. Then they take Daniel hostage, and they find Darcy. And I thought this was pretty funny. They're like, all right, well, what are you going to do? And they literally just like, in the mid-sentence, just start shooting them. First they kill the goon, then they kill Daniel, and then they kill Darcy. And he tries to get away and just gets lit up.
He just kind of starts walking away, like, and they're like, yeah, no, we're going to get
shot. And it's pretty good. And then at the end, he like comes up with like his desert island band finally, which I guess was supposed to be a metaphor or something.
I love the ending.
Yeah, it was good. Or he comes up with a name for something too.
Well, I think they're just sitting there, and he's like, because throughout the movie, Anton Yelchin is the one who doesn't really know what his desert island band is. Whenever the question is asked, he's always like, "Oh, I don't know," like, or he makes a joke about it. I think he joked like Britney Spears.
Yeah,
and then at the end of the movie, he finally like I guess has it, and he's like, "Oh, my desert island movie. Do you want to? I think I know what it is." And Imogen Poots is just like, tell someone who gives a shit.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I like the ending.
All right, so that synopsis was a real struggle to get through, but
it's all good. We got all the important stuff in there.
All you need to know is like intense graphic neo-Nazi violence.
That's pretty much all you need. Yeah, check it out though. But what'd you think of this one, Dave?
All right. I like this one a lot. I had some problems with the plot, but I thought the characters were decently interesting. And I mean, obviously, like the tension, the directing were just amazing. Like, this is one of the tensest films I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a nice little like genre thriller. Like, it was just really well done. It was really tight. Like, it didn't feel like there was a lot of extra stuff in there. Like, it felt like it was well edited, and it just was a quick movie. I think everything was taut and done well. Like, I thought all the performances were good. I think it was pretty strong across the board. But yeah, there were definitely some intense violence in this movie too.
I mean, there was just some scenes where I was just really on the edge of my seat. Mostly when they were in that room, you're just like, "Fuck."
What is going to happen next? Like, you don't know what they're going to do to get these guys out of this room. Because, yeah, that's like probably the biggest section of the movie is this group of people is just trapped in this room, and it's also a situation that it lends itself to the viewer's imagination because you're thinking like, all right, what would I do in this situation? Like, my life is on the line here. Like, they have clearly some guys with them. We have like one weapon. Like, what are we going to do? And yeah, it's intense. The way it's directed, it just...
Yeah, and I mean, I think they do some dumb stuff, but I mean, they're dumb people for the most part. And, but they also do some smart stuff. So I like that. The characters were definitely believable.
Yeah,
I also liked how it was like every man for himself. Like, they really didn't care about each other once they got loose. They just tried to make a run for it.
Yeah, it felt really realistic. Like, just like brutal realism in this movie. Like, I feel like characters kind of acted based on their own base instincts, and there was no like, even one thing I liked is Patrick Stewart's character was not like I think it was a great performance by Patrick Stewart, and his character was definitely depraved and sort of this pretty bad dude, and I think it was a really good performance, but he definitely wasn't like this infallible warlord or something.
Oh, yeah, he did a lot of dumb stuff.
Like, he does a lot of dumb stuff, and he's like, or makes calls that lend you to believe like, hey, this is a real guy that is put in this crazy situation involving hostages and, covering things up from the police, and how do I make this go away without, ruining my business? And even though he's a really bad guy, like, he's not exactly like a Bond villain or something,
he's believable. And especially
he's really believable.
They did that with Daniel, like, because Daniel, like, he's like really like into the dogs, like he like obviously loves them basically, which is funny because he makes them fight. But because he's like upset when the dog gets shot, and he's like, it's gonna die. I hope it doesn't, let it die with meat in its teeth. And then at the end, when he's dead, the dog comes and like lays with him because
I know clearly those dogs like have a serious attachment to this guy. Like, the dog.
They were trying to show like his humanity. I think with that, like he was a piece of shit, but he also like loved his dogs at least.
Yeah, everything felt really real about this movie. I feel like the characters felt like real people. The situation, I mean, I don't know how realistic the situation was, but it felt like everything was handled in a realistic.
Was definitely realistic. Like, people would just die like that. Like, you wouldn't see. Yeah. Like, when the guy that was trying to save them, I like did not expect him to just get killed off so quick.
No, yeah, like the violence was brutal, but it was very unceremonious. Like, people got killed in, just brutal, like, quick ways, like, that I feel like everything about this movie just struck realism to me. I feel like the way people handled the situation in general felt realistic. I feel like even the performances were very, like, and the way the movie was shot, like, it definitely wasn't like, an actor piece where it's like,
Oh yeah, no.
it was very much an ensemble, like just ultra realistic movie. And the fact that it was so tense, I think comes from that realism. Like you just really feel like you were in this. And I mean, it's well directed too, but it's like you really feel like you were in these characters' shoes, and you're like, oh crap, like they are in some serious hot water here. Like, how are they going to get out of it?
When they're in that room, like, they're like basically like so upset they're like crying, which I thought was realistic because it's like,
Yeah.
like when he's choking the dude out, like, he doesn't want to be doing it, but he is because he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
It's yeah. I mean, everything that happens is believable.
And the
then
violence is brutal too.
Yeah, the
Like,
violence is brutal, but also believable. Like, they're
Yeah.
they always are shooting at each other and they're missing all the time, and they're like swinging machetes at each other and like constantly missing.
Yeah, like wildly, and like, oh man, that first exchange scene where Anton Yelkin gets his hand messed up,
that
like,
was
oh,
horrible. Yeah, like
that
they like
was
almost chop his arm off. It's like hanging.
Yeah, like at first I was like, oh man, like, and again, I didn't know how violent this movie was going to be. I was like, oh man, they got him in the hand, and then it shows it, and his hand is like, it literally looks like his hand is about to like fall off, like it's just hanging on
they
by
have
like
to duct tape it back on.
it's hanging on by like just tendons, and yeah, they have to duct tape his arm up, and you're just like, oh man, like,
And then when they cut the dude with the box cutter, that was rough.
oh yeah, he just splits open, like, oh.
That was
Yeah, that was
terrible.
brutal too.
I almost thought he was gonna come. I mean, I knew he wasn't gonna
And
come
yeah,
back, but
and I love the realism of the violence too. Like I feel like in another movie, it would have, he would have gotten his hand messed up, but then they would have done something to like neatly tie it up, and it would have been like, okay, don't worry about that anymore. His hand's okay, that he can keep going. But his hand is like messed up, and all they do is like duct tape it because that's all they have available.
yeah, and
and,
he literally can't use it again throughout the movie.
yeah,
Like,
and I think
he's
they
like
just,
terrible when he tries to fight because I think he kills one person with a machete.
yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, they do a really, really good job with that aspect.
There's a lot of just like good touches on the scenes, like especially in the beginning where they're like riding on the bike and it's like playing that like music and it's like kind of quiet. It's like that was a really like
Yeah.
artsy way to do that. And same thing when they're playing.
And I
the
love when
diner.
they're playing the song at the neo-Nazi place, and I love that shot where they're playing this hardcore stuff, and then it cuts that more like mellow acoustic while they're sort of
it's
zooming
very-
across them.
It's a very
that was
nice
really
touch.
Yeah, there's some different stylish touches in there that it's a genre thriller, but I feel like it's sort of elevated by some of these touches, and everything is just really well done about it. It's well executed.
Yeah, the direction is amazing in this. I mean, he really knows what he's doing. I mean, it looks good too. The film has a great look to it.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of got that like it almost feels kind of green.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely.
I don't
I'm
know.
sure that they
I don't
did that
know.
on purpose. I mean, I don't know if green is like a Nazi color or whatever, but it's like, it's out in the woods. There's a lot of green foliage and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it even seems like the base when they're just even just the average scenes, it seems like it's shot in almost just a slightly greenish hue,
Yeah,
or
there's
like
probably
something.
some, like color correction done with that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think there probably is. I would agree. What'd you think of the performances?
I actually think that Patrick Stewart was like maybe kind of miscast. Like he was good, but it was like, why does this neo-Nazi that lives in Portland have like a British accent? Like
Patrick
like he was good, but like what's he doing here?
Yeah, Patrick Stewart got a lot of positive press for this role too, or at least
And he's
like
not in that
critically.
scenes really.
No, I thought he was good. I
Yeah,
liked him a lot. But I kind of agree. I didn't feel like he was any kind of trend. I thought it was really an ensemble piece. Like I feel like
for sure.
I don't feel like Patrick Stewart like stood out as like, oh my gosh, this guy's like the king of acting. Like I feel like everybody had their part in the movie, and I feel like he played his part well, but I feel like he really kind of blended into the overall intensity of the story. Like
Yelkin was really good too. I think he was one of the standouts.
I liked him a lot too, and again, he's another actor that I've never really seen him in anything where I'm like crazy about him, but I thought he was really good in this. He just created a very and he's also a character that needed to be there because I feel like he was probably the most sympathetic character. Like I was able to relate to him a little, and like I could, I thought there was some real emotional depth with him, whereas some of the other characters, I was like, okay, like you're a really realistic person, but God, you're just a douche, or like,
Yeah, like the guy Tiger, I really didn't like him.
No, I didn't like him either. I feel like a lot of the characters were kind of unlikable, but I feel like that made sense considering the context of this movie. I mean, this is a very unsuccessful little like band just playing these dismal places, and I feel like everybody kind of fit into that narrative, and Yeah, even the goons felt real. Like all the
Yeah,
goons
definitely.
felt
Like, they
real.
were dumbasses, but they played that part very well.
They were, and they felt like people who weren't, again, I feel like if this was a movie handled by a different director, they may have seemed like, some of them may have seemed like killing machines, or the guy with the dogs might have seemed like this ultra, just like, here comes the guy with the dogs, like boss fight, like, everybody was really realistic and seemed like they were just thrown into this situation and didn't really know what to do either. And even the main guy, the short guy, what's Gabe or whatever his name was, the guy that took their phones away, like he seemed unsure about what to do and how to handle the situation, and was making calls that weren't necessarily the right call, and it just, everything felt authentic about this movie, which I really liked.
Oh, I also figured out the thing with the gun.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the short guy tells the big Justin guy to give them the gun, and he does. That's what happened, and that's why he was like, they're a lot smarter than you, aren't they? Because it's just stupid to do that.
Yeah.
I was just looking at my notes. It was in my notes. I couldn't really read them that well.
Yeah. My biggest flaw with the movie, and honestly, it's mostly just a personal flaw, is it was just kind of bleak for me.
Oh yeah.
I kind of got, as it went on, I was just a little, I never became detached from it. I was always interested in it, but it just kind of like weighed on me as it went on. Like things just got so like hopeless, and I knew there was going to be this sort of messy, like just realistic downer ending, and like it just, again, I don't even know if that's a fair criticism, because it's not necessarily like a flaw in the movie. It was just me personally. It was just a little bit, even with the color palette, the drab color palette, which I thought fit the movie really well, but it kind of just weighed on me as it went on, and I kind of got a little more.
It was like just like overwhelming. I think that was
a little bit.
Positive of the film is that, like, except for the guy maybe Tiger, like I think all the characters you cared about enough that you didn't want to see any of them die, and you got upset when they died. So like when they ran out of that room and they all started getting cut down, it was definitely like very depressing.
Yeah, it was. Well,
like,
I also
like
go
that fast.
I was also kind of keeping a mental tally of like who was alive and who wasn't, and as these characters, sometimes like 2 or 3 of them die in one scene, and you're like, wait a second, like how is this going to keep going? There's only like 2, or like a character would get an injury, and you're like, oh my god, like how is this going to keep going? Like, because there's not many people left. Like,
yeah, I mean, it really was just the 2, Pat and Imogen Poots, for a while, because most everybody died, and then it was just them, and then I think they kind of like transformed, and then we finally got like some gratification when they started getting some kills in.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was well deserved. I love the ending part where the guys come in, and he's like, who's there? And he's like, what does he say? He's like, the son of Odin or something.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what the line
is.
He's
like Odin himself.
Odin himself, yeah, and he has like his little face painted, and it's
and he's like banging on the walls, and it actually like scares them. They're like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" Like his plan works.
Yeah, these guys have lost it. Like, but and they kind of have to like go into hell to pretty much save themselves and just give up their humanity almost, and just not give a crap anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they just like at the end they were just like dropping them like flies, but it's like, hey, good for you, I guess.
Yeah, and I like the paintball story too. Like, I think that was a really good kind of thread throughout the movie.
Yeah,
like,
it was the same thing with like the Desert Island song.
Same thing with the Desert Island thing, and I think
really
they handled those 2 things in really cool ways. I don't know.
Talk about. I mean,
I'm not really sure. What else you got?
I don't know. It's like I feel like the main thing you talk about with this is the violence, which is extreme.
And the violence is brutal.
Some of the most tense I've ever been in a movie. And then really, it's like, the performances are good, but it's like the plot is very basic. I think we can start talking about some things we didn't like, because there's some things I didn't like about this.
Yeah, go ahead, would you?
First of all, I thought I was telling they just like hit every buzzword, and I don't know anything about neo-Nazis, so I don't know if they use these words, but it's like I was looking at like I said, the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, which isn't like the best source for this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was just like boots and braces. That was something they said. Red laces. What else? There was a lot of stuff they said. Like a boot party. He talked about a boot party. That's
I do remember that.
Where you kick somebody to death. That was in the movie.
Oh, I didn't.
There were so many terms that were off that website, and I'm not so sure that these guys use these terms in real life. It's possible that they were just like, all right, how do we get some realistic neo-Nazis? And I mean, they were realistic to a point. I don't think that, these guys would necessarily be so willing to resort to like, killing like 5 or 6 people. I mean,
Yeah, see, I didn't notice some of that stuff while watching it, or at least I didn't notice all those buzzwords, but I noticed some of them. But now that you're saying it, yeah, it does seem like,
They
all right,
were,
let's
like,
throw
listing them off at one point.
every buzzword we possibly can. Let's throw it in here.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. There was a lot of them. I remember boots and braces, red laces, boot party. There was a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was one like where he was like talking about whether they had earned the red laces. There was a lot of stuff like that. I mean, it was just all throughout the movie, and it was like, they worked in it. The dialogue was really good. They worked it into it well, but it was a little too much for me. Like, okay, we get it. These guys are neo-Nazis.
Yeah, we get it. They're bad dudes. They're neo-Nazis. Like, yeah, or even like the fact, like, we get it that they're neo-Nazis. It doesn't have to be like, buzzwords in every scene or like terminology in every scene. Like,
yeah, I mean, it almost took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be with you on that one. I don't have too many other problems. I mean, I guess that would be a flaw for me, and then really kind of just the fact that it got a little bit old after time. But
yeah, I think they were in that room a little too long. And I also, like I said before, like their plot to kill them. First of all, we didn't really understand what they were even trying to do.
Yeah, I think that's actually leads me into my other flaws. It got a little repetitive for me, and again, it's almost like not a flaw because I do feel like it's somewhat realistic in that the bad guys don't necessarily know how to handle this situation. But eventually it was kind of like, okay, like they're in this room and basically you're literally just trying similar stuff over and over again. It's like, all right, this time we're going to go in there with the knives. This time we're going to go in there with the dogs. Like, this time we're going to go in there with 2 guys with guns. Like, it got a little bit...
It was like arbitrary too. Like, you can only shoot this many bullets.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It felt arbitrary. I was like, all right, what's really the point of these guys, these various waves of assault here? And like, what do you...
They could have sent like 7 people in at once with guns and it would have worked, because they did that. They were all waiting outside, but they would literally send 2 at a time. I think that the explanation was they didn't want too many... Well, I mean, they did, though, because they had all those people shooting at them, but it was like they didn't want too many people involved because I guess it's harder to keep people quiet. But it was like, literally, why would you send 2 guys in when you can send everybody in with a bunch of knives? Other than the fact that they were trying to stage this crime scene, which it really didn't make sense because they were like, some of them were going to be killed by dogs, some of them were going to have been shot, I guess. But it was like, I didn't really understand what their plot was, other than the fact that they were going to set them up and frame them. Like, it seemed like they were going through hoops to frame them for siphoning gas, which probably wouldn't even work, to be honest. I guess I don't know how.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I think I just like didn't care about like that.
I agree. I really didn't care. I think I had to really think about that to care about it.
But I think it's almost that's a deserved flaw in the movie. I mean, you should be able to understand the logic of what the people are doing. But I kind of just like now I think I just tuned it out and was like, all right, what's going to happen next? But I did find it a little repetitive. Like, okay, I'm realizing here the same crap is happening over and over again. Like, we get it. You need to get these guys out of here. Like, try something else rather than just sending 2 guys in here at a time with guns or whatever. Like, okay, here come the dogs again. Like, try something else. But yeah, that got a little repetitive for me too, or at least for me. Yeah. Any other flaws?
I mean, I think that was my major complaint. I mean, other than that, I liked it a lot. And then maybe the plot, like you said, it got repetitive because the plot wasn't the most interesting thing. It was just like, it was all about the tension and the violence.
Yeah, it just kind of played in its genre, like the thriller. But I thought there were definitely elements of it that elevated it above just like a normal old genre movie. Like, it was really well done. So, all right, you want to cap this thing off here?
Yeah, let's let's give our scores.
Yeah, what are you going to give this one?
I think I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
All right, I'm going to go 7 on this one. Liked it quite a bit, but all right. Well, that wraps up our reviews. So we're just about done here, guys. We're going to bring this crazy train into the station. The only thing we have to do left only thing we have to do left is get to our lists. And Dave, you want to explain what these lists are?
Yeah, so basically from here on out, we should have been doing, we're going to start ranking every film we review in one big list. So like, we'll have a 1 through 100 or whatever, however many we do. And every time we review a film, we'll stick it on the list where we think it fits. So here are going to be like our lists up to this point, and then from now on.
And again, these are movies that we've reviewed on the show. These aren't like our top. Yeah. These aren't our favorite movies of all time. We're reviewing movies that we've reviewed on this show, and we're gonna cycle through them. So, all right, you want to start on your bottom movie?
Yeah, we're gonna go from the bottom up, and then from here on out, we'll say where our movie's going in regards to this list. We'll also post these lists up for you so you can look at them.
Yeah. So, do you want to give like a a one sentence blurb about each of them and their spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at number 14, because I think I'm going to have two more than Sam, I have It Follows. And I have a feeling it's going to be very hard for me to make this not the worst movie I've reviewed, because I really fucking hated this movie. I thought.
You have that as your last one?
Yeah. I thought it was putrid shit.
All right, interesting. At my number 14, I've got Left Behind.
Oh, that's a quality choice.
The classic starring Nicolas Cage about, God, I don't even remember. He was some kind of airline pilot doing.
It was The Rapture, I think.
Yeah, it was like The Rapture going on. So, yeah, pretty bad. I don't think I really need to say much else.
All right, so at my 13, I have Beyond the Gates, which is very similar in tone and theme to It Follows, which I also thought was just a lousy horror movie that relied purely on aesthetics and throwbacks and nothing else.
All right. My number 11, I guess, is, what do I have written there? Is It Follows. So I am in very similar vein with you. I think that is. I almost, like, part of me is putting it there too, just out of spite. Like, I hate what that movie stands for, and like the kind of positive press that it gets and critical acclaim. Like, I don't know that I would necessarily personally consider this the worst movie on that was made, but I did not like it, and I hate the fact that it's so popular or like so positively received. So I'm not even gonna say anything about the plot. It sucked.
All right. So at 12, I have Left Behind for obvious reasons. It was a really bad movie. I mean, we don't need to even talk about this.
Wait, which one was that?
Left Behind.
Oh, yeah, Left Behind.
I mean, obviously, I couldn't get it any higher than that. That's going to have a hard time being moved up at all. I mean, these bottom three, I think, are going to be on the bottom for a long time.
Yeah, they're going to be staying pretty long. All right, next I've got We're Back, a dinosaur's story or tale. Again, this is actually, I actually am kind of sad that this one is this low, because I love this movie when I was a kid. I really loved it. And part of me still does, even though I'm ranking it so low. I really do have a soft spot for this movie, but it's just not a good movie. I mean, it's just not well done. The animation is not holding up, and it's just not a very good movie. But again, that's critical me talking in my insides. In my heart of hearts, I still have a spot for it.
All right, so next I've got I'm Still Here, which I don't think you did that one either.
No, I wasn't on that episode, though. I feel like I would hate it.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a lousy movie. It was like, after you watch it, you're like, what's the point? Why did I watch this? Like, it's not funny. It's not true. It's not real. And I don't know. I don't even understand what the point of this film was. It ruined Joaquin Phoenix's career for a very long time, and I can see why.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. The next one I've got is Quiet Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's disappointing to hear.
I know. I wasn't a big fan of Quiet Man. I can't remember too much about it to give you like a serious reason. I'm not a John Wayne fan. There were moments in the movie that I liked, but it just didn't do it for me.
All right, so next I have We're Back, which, for the same reasons you said, it's like, animation's not very good.
No.
It's just like not a very good movie.
I can't remember. Was this a childhood movie for you too? Like, did you?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, okay. I think it was our friend Adam, who's done a couple episodes. I feel like he didn't see it when he was a kid or something. Because this movie was awesome when you were a kid. Like, it really was. Like, I love this movie. Like, and it just disappoints me that it's so low now. My next movie is Beyond the Gates, which
I made it pretty high, actually.
Yeah, I liked it a little more than you. I found it watchable. I didn't. I have so many problems with it, but at the end of the day, I do find it to be a watchable movie. I didn't, a lot of issues with it, a lot more issues than positives, but nice little just genre movie if you're looking for something to watch. All right, what's next for you? All
right, next I've got Adore, which I don't think you watched that either.
No, I didn't. I'm really sad,
Justin. You missed out on that, dude. You really missed out.
I might just check that out.
You should
independently.
I like the movie, but I think it's a really bad movie. It's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's probably kind of what Beyond the Gates is for me. Except this is one obviously is probably much deeper. My next one is Enter the Void, which was the Gaspar Noé movie. It's worth watching once. I'll say that. Visually, it's got some really interesting things. There's definitely a hypnotic tone to it. There's just too much in it that either doesn't make sense or I just felt was gratuitous or it's not a pleasant viewing experience. So yeah, that's it. That's Enter the Void for me.
Next, I've got Neon Demon, actually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even top half of my list, but it's close. I mean, I liked it. I liked a lot of the visuals, but in the end, I don't think it was a very good movie.
Okay, that's fair. I've got Roman Holiday next. Fun movie. I liked it. I mean, it. Cary Grant and I can't remember. Oh, was that who? Wait, who else was in it? Was it Audrey Hepburn?
Yeah, it's Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, I thought they played well off each other. It was just a fun, entertaining watch. I liked the ending a lot. Yeah.
All right, next I've got actually Enter the Void. I definitely like that better than Neon Demon. We were pretty close on that.
Yeah.
I guess you like. I mean, yeah, I thought it was definitely better than Neon Demon. Actually, I think they're very similar in what they were trying to do. Weak on plot, heavy on visuals. But I just feel like Neon Demon, I don't know, like it just turned me off at the end. Whereas Enter the Void, I don't know, I felt like it was worth watching, especially the second half. First half, maybe not so much.
For some reason, Enter the Void, like it put me on a more of a downer. I don't know, like I was like just in like this pit of despair watching that movie, like that. I don't know, and I have no desire to watch it again. But I'm glad I watched it. It's worth a watch in my opinion. So cool. My next one is. Actually, my next one is Green Room. Liked it a lot. Really good genre thriller. I mean, we just talked about it, so I'm not going to say much, but that's my next one.
Yeah, actually, mine, which would be number 6, I guess you're going to hit the top of your list before I do. Is, also Green Room.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're pretty I guess the rest of ours are going to be flipped because I got The Quiet Man and Roman Holiday coming up.
Yeah, you do. All right, my next one is Alien Covenant.
So where are you at right now? Number 2?
I'm at number 4. Okay. Alien Covenant's number 4 for me. So I liked Alien Covenant a lot. Again, we did that episode recently, so check it out. I think we did it 2 episodes ago. Really solid movie, amazing visuals, good performances, especially by Fassbender, and it's a fun movie to watch. But again, doesn't really give me the Prometheus satisfaction that I expected, but definitely worth seeing.
So at 5, I've got The Quiet Man. Actually, I liked it a lot more than you did.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. I know you liked it a lot.
I think that's vintage John Ford, John Wayne stuff going on. I mean, it had a lot of flaws, but I mean, it's a classic, and I can see why. I mean, it holds up in a lot of senses.
And I think even to a degree, I can see why. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's long, and it's
yeah, it's just not for me. But I definitely do respect it. My next one is Spring Breakers, which I liked quite a bit. Again, that's another movie that sat with me for a while. I kind of want to watch it again at some point. Just crazy good visuals. I think the performances were better than I expected. James Franco was awesome in it. Great music. It's just a fun, kind of crazy movie if you're in the mood for something different.
All right, so next I've got it for Roman Holiday, which I also liked. I liked it a little better than Quiet Man, but it was close. I thought it was so far ahead of its time. And I'd like to watch it again soon, actually.
I would too, and it felt modern. Like it really feels like it didn't feel like I'm watching a movie from 70 years ago or whatever, 60 years ago. Like, no, it definitely holds up. All right, number 2, I've got Neon Demon. I
was afraid that would be your number 1, but I know what it is now, at least.
No, it's not my number 1, but I did like it a lot, and it's like it's creeping up there as I'm thinking about it. So, again, we just talked about it, but I'm on the board the Winding Refn train.
Yeah. So at 3, I've got Alien Covenant, which I think is funny. We're coming up with these lists, and I've got Alien Covenant. You have, a lot of movies above Roman Holiday and The Quiet Man, which are 2 legendary films.
I know those are 2 classics.
We got movies way higher than that.
I know. I actually liked Roman Holiday a lot, and part of that may be just a little bit of recent bias here from what I've, but I really like pretty much all these movies at the top of my list a lot, and just a little bit better than Roman Holiday. It's close though. But I also think I would admit that Roman Holiday has more of a cultural significance than some of these movies that I'm listing.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
I think I have a level of respect for Roman Holiday that I probably don't for Green Room or, even Alien Covenant. But I think in terms of enjoyment and where I would rank them personally, I would rank them ahead. But I actually like Roman Holiday quite a bit. Don't get me wrong.
All right, so...
and is it me?
One? Yeah, is it on you now? I think it's on you.
All right, yeah, so my number 1 is The Hunt. And with Mads Mikkelsen, where he's kind of this wrongfully accused, he's wrongfully accused as being a child molester, and I thought it was really good. Just a powerful movie, just powerhouse performances, like well directed, just interesting. I loved it. I want to watch that again at some point too. So that's my number one. So as of right now, The Hunt is claiming the top spot for me in our movie list.
All right, so actually my number 2 is The Hunt, which
Ooh, okay.
I love that movie for the same reasons you did.
It was really good.
Which makes my number 1
Wait, what is your number? Oh, Spring Breakers. Okay, cool.
So right now, Spring Breakers is my top dog of all the things we've watched so far. So I'm wondering how
Very
long that
interesting.
can stay on top.
Yeah, that it's kind of like, man, Spring Breakers is number 1. Like, how long is that going to last? But
and I mean,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a statement that I really like that movie. I would put it in like a top list for me.
Yeah, especially for whatever 2014. I'd be interested in like looking at movies from that year and where I would put Spring Breakers on that list, because it would be high. But all right, so that's interesting. As of right now, folks, that is our movie list. And again, these are movies that we reviewed on the show, and we just have decided that we're going to rank them based on that. And I'm sure at some point, too, in this show, we'll do what our top movies are, like,
definitely
overall, but that's not going to be today because I'm tired. So
yeah, that's going to be a while from now. Well, I got to think of all the movies I've watched first.
Yeah, that might even be like a special episode or something. But all right, man, that was another good time. Any other final things you want to talk about, or should we just close this bad boy up?
We should be doing The Mummy for our next episode, so keep an eye out for that.
The Mummy is, with 99% chance that is going to be our next episode, is The Mummy. So tune in for that. Should be out early next week. And don't forget, guys, we got a lot of social media presence. So make sure to follow us on Facebook just search Serious Film Critics and we'll come up. Like us on there. We do have a Twitter.
Which we're using again.
Which we are using again. We are posting on there pretty regularly. So it's Serious_Critics, or just search Serious Film Critics. You'll probably find us eventually. We do have a Tumblr. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something with it. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. Follow us on there, though. And also, lastly, make sure to send your emails to us if you have anything. And again, these could be movie questions. They could be like movie character fighting against one another related questions, like would you rather's. Like, we'll answer pretty much anything. So send us your emails to theseriousfilmcritics@gmail.com, spelled exactly as it is. So all right, guys, thank you for joining us today. It's been a doozy, and we will see you next time. Take it easy.